Hey guys, welcome back to Grammar Check with me, Shin, and my partner.
Faye.
And today we'll be learning about adjectives before or after the noun, adjective order, and modals. And to begin our stream, let's start with what is an adjective? So Faye, what is an adjective?
An adjective is a word that describes a noun. It tells how it looks, smells, sounds, feels, or tastes. And it also tells how many. So as you can see, there's a dog right there. And there are words surrounding the dog. So those words are called adjectives. Okay, the word cute, brown, spotty, friendly, energetic, and furry. Those are called adjectives. And also here in the doghouse, there are also words, and these words are also adjectives. Words such as cozy, blue, sturdy, and brown. So adjectives are words that describes a noun. So the order of adjectives. So how can we know whether the adjective is before or after the noun? Adjectives can mainly go to two positions, okay? Two positions in the sentence. If it's in the attributive position, the adjective goes before the noun it modifies. So we have two examples here. She is a nice teacher. Okay, so our adjective is nice, and the noun that it modifies is teacher. The second one, he marries a wealthy lawyer. So our adjective is wealthy, and the noun that it modifies is lawyer. And the second position, the particative position, the adjective goes after the verb. Okay, for example, he is sweet. And in this case, we have our be verb is, and the adjective is sweet. The second one, she looks tough. The verb looks and the adjective tough. While adjectives in the attributive position are usually found before the noun, there are a few exceptions. First one, fixed phrase. Second one, some adjectives ending in able or able, and indefinite pronouns such as such as somebody, anywhere, and everything. So we have here for fixed phrases, we have the first one, Secretary General. Okay, so in fixed phrases, the adjective is after the noun, so Secretary General. The second is a poet laureate. The third one, Attorney General, and the last one is court martial. And we also have some adjectives ending in able or able. Okay, the first example, it is the only solution possible. Or in this case, our adjective is possible. And the second one, book all the tickets available. So our adjective is available. And we have indefinite pronouns, anyone, someone, or something. Okay, the first example, we have anyone capable. Capable is our adjective here. Next one, someone nice. Okay, nice is our adjective. And the last one, something wicked, wherein wicked is our adjective.
Okay, so for more information, these fixed phrases and some adjectives ending in able and able, there is actually no rule that defines which words or which phrases count as an adjective after the noun. But these are things that you just have to read and listen to gain more information about. So this is strictly memorization. It might be daunting, but keep at it and you'll get it eventually. Okay, now let's proceed to the next order, the adjective order. Now, it might seem strange that these are all describing words, but why is order so important? Like in all things in life, having a strict order of things keeps things nice and understandable. So how do we order adjectives in the English language? We do it simply by following this table. So we start with our determiner. These are determiners like your articles, your quantitatives, or some predeterminers. Your observations, so these are like your, what you can see, and the physical descriptions like the size, shape, age, color, the origin or where it came from, or what part of the world it is, material, what it's made of, and qualifier. These qualifiers are a special thing that we will talk about later. So let's go ahead and start with our determiner. So determiners are little words that go before and modify the noun. So they give our listener an idea whether the noun or the thing that we're talking about is a general thing or if it is specific. So we have many types of determiners and we'll talk about them here. So we have our determiners such as articles, which are simple three: a, and the. So a and an are things we use for general things. A we use for nouns that begin with consonants, and we use it for general things with nouns that begin with vowels. And we use the for words that we are talking about that are specific. Next we have possessive pronouns like his, her, your, their, and the other possessive pronouns there. Our numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it goes so on and so forth. And indefinite pronouns, these are more specific, like few, more, each, every, either, all, both, some, and any. And demonstratives like this, that, these, those, and such. And some quantifiers. So now we go on to observation. So observation is just basically your opinion or what you think about something or what you think about the topic or the noun. So we use adjectives that are subject to subjective measure or things that you feel or what you think. So there's no factual basis or it's not set in stone what these are. So your opinion or what you think may be different from the person right next to you. So for example, words that are an observation or an opinion are the words good, great, terrible, pretty, expensive, and gorgeous.
Okay, so next we have the size and the shape. So it's quite simple, right? Adjective subject to objective measure. So that means it tells you how big or how small something is as well as its shape. Okay, sizes such as huge, large, tiny, minuscule, small, and there are other words as well. And also we have the shapes. We have triangular, we have round, square, flat, rectangular, and there are also different shapes. Now we have the age. Okay, so it's just easy. Adjective that tells you how old or young something is. We have here new, old, young, and ancient. Okay, and also the color. It tells you the color of the subject or the noun. We have red, blue, pink, yellow, etc.
So now for the origin. So origin basically means where it comes from, but it is also the denomial adjective denoting the source or where the noun is from, or describes where something comes from, like French, Korean, American, English. Like these are for where it originated, like made in France, made in America. It is an American car. It's a Korean computer. Or it can come from where that thing started or what section of the world did it start. For like example number 5, Christian. Like this is a Christian practice. Christmas is a Christian holiday. Muslims the Quran is from the Muslim religion, like that. Okay, so it's not only it's not only isolated to the country. It could also come from like groups or people or ideas or orders where it first started. Okay, it's not just which country it comes from. Okay. Okay, next we have material. So this is a denominal adjective that tells what something is made of. So either it is wooden, metallic, earthen, or woolen. Like my watch. My watch here is metallic. It's a metallic watch. It is made out of metal. Okay? So these adjectives are usually formed by adding ic or en to the end, if you notice. Like wool. Wool is a noun. Woolen is the adjective. Earth is a noun. Earthen is the name. Metallic is a noun, and metallic is the adjective. Now, qualifier. So this is the special one I was talking about. So a qualifier is the final limiter of a noun. So it is, what I mean by limiter is that this is the final thing that will specify what your noun is talking about. Okay? So when you have these qualifiers, it is usually already attached or is already part of the noun. For example, rocking chair, hunting cabin, basketball players, passenger car, right? These are the things that further specify what you're talking about. Because if you have chair, cabin, players, or car alone, it's not nearly as specific as it having that final limiter, the qualifier before it, okay? Okay, now let's go to our next thing, the coordinating adjectives.
Okay, so if you are using multiple adjectives in a single sentence, and that happens a lot, and those adjectives belong to the same class, you would want to put a comma. So that's how you separate the adjectives. You would want to put a comma between them. For example, I would rather have expensive, comfortable shoes, okay? So if you won't put a comma between expensive and comfortable, they won't make any sense. The rule for placing comma goes like this. If you can place a conjunction, like your and or but, those are conjunctions, between two adjectives, use a comma, okay? For example, inexpensive but comfortable shoes, or you can say inexpensive, comfortable shoes, but always put a comma between two adjectives. If you have three adjectives now, separate them all with a comma, but do not place a comma in between the last adjective and the noun, okay? So now we are done with adjectives. Let us proceed to modals. So what are modals? Modals are special verbs which behave irregularly in English. They give additional information about the function of the main verb that follows it. Okay, so it further specifies the function of the verb. It is used to express ability, possibility, permission, or obligation. And there are also certain uses of these modals which we will talk later in the slide. Okay, so how do we write sentences using the modals? It's just simple. We have the subject plus your modal plus your second verb. And there are rules for the second verb. Never add s, es, ed, or ing to the second verb. And most modals, except for ought, are followed by the verb without to. So you don't usually add to after certain modals except for ought. And they make questions in negative forms without using do or did.
Okay, so now that we've learned what modals are, so let's think of now the uses of modal verbs. So the first use that we have for modal verbs is to ask permission. you always want to choose which model you use to ask permission because some models are more appropriate, more formal than others. So let's begin. Now we have can. Can is commonly used to ask or give permission. These are the words, this is the model that you should use if you're like talking to a friend, talking to someone your age, someone close. So example of this is, can I go to the party? So you're asking this to like your friend who's having a party, and then you want to ask if you can join them. So that's when you can use the word can. But if you're talking to someone higher than you in position, like maybe your teacher, a boss, or maybe your parents, you can use the more formal may. So, for example, if you're talking to a host, someone who invited you into your house, you can ask, may I have a cup of coffee, please? May I have a cup of coffee, please? Okay? You can also use could or might. These are not so often used in modern talk, but they can still be used. They still can be used to ask permission, like in these following sentences. Might I have a word with you? This is like you did something wrong and your boss wants to talk to you. He might say or she might say, might I have a word with you? Next, do you think I could leave early tonight? You're talking to your boss and you want to be early. You could say, do you think I could leave early tonight? Okay, so next we'll talk about ability. So ability is the things you can do or you can't do. Like this one, you use can when you're talking about something that you can do or you are able to do until this present. Like, I can fly or I can talk, because I can still talk right now, so I can use the word can. See what I did there? Now let's go to could. So when you use the word could, you use it for things that you could do in the past. Like, when I was younger, I could hold my breath for 10 minutes. So this is trying to explain to you that when this person is now a bit older and at present cannot hold their breath for 10 minutes. They might be able to hold it for less than 10, but they can no longer hold it for 10 minutes.
Okay, so now let us go to obligation or requirement. That means there is something that you need to do because it's your obligation and it is a requirement. So we have the first modal, must. Okay, here it sounds like you really need to do that. Okay, the first sentence we have here, you must finish your food. So this is what usually our parents would tell us, right? If we don't finish our food, it's bad. So that's why they tell us you must finish your food, because it's bad to waste food. The second one is had to. It's just the past tense of must. We have an example here. I had to go to the grocery store because you needed something, so you had to go to the grocery store. Next, we have don't have to, don't need to, and need not. So these modals are used to show that there is no obligation. You don't have to do it tonight. That means you are not required to do it tonight. You can be required to do it tomorrow, but not tonight. And the last one we have must not. Okay, it's different from don't have to, don't need to, and need not. Must not here, it shows that there's an obligation not to do something. For example, you must not smoke inside the cinema. Another example is you must not drink alcohol while driving. So that is the use of must not. Next we have advice, should or ought to. Okay, so this is where we use to, okay, the word to for ought, but we don't add it after should, okay? So we have an example here. You should review your lessons, or you ought to review your lessons. That is how we should say it. And we have here had better. We have a sample sentence. You had better start on your project. So it's like the speaker is threatening you when you say had better.
Okay, so next let's go on to our next thing, probability. So probability is used to show, or probability talks about how much or how likely something is to happen. So we have this one, this model for probability, should or ought to. So it is used to show if something is expected to happen, but there's no certainty. You're still not 100% sure that it will happen. For example right here for the first example, the situation is like you're a kid waiting for your dad to finish a meeting, and you will say to yourself, the meeting should be over now. You're still not sure that the meeting is done, but you think it should be, or it's most likely to be done. Next, you're like a parent who is who sent her child abroad, and you'll be saying she ought to be there right now. She ought to be there right now. That means there is a high possibility, but you're not 100% sure that she has reached her destination. Now, we have possibility. So possibility is different from probability in that it is possible. There is a strong likelihood that it will happen. Like could, for you use the model could. It suggests that something is less likely than might or may. So when we use the models for possibility, you have to choose the right model, because the model that you choose says how likely something is to happen. So when you say could, it is less likely to happen than if you use may or might. So for example, don't touch the wire. It could be dangerous. Okay, so you're unsure. But if you say it may be dangerous, that means, or it might be dangerous, you're a little more sure that it will be dangerous than when you said could. So let's go to may or might. She may not, or she might not be going to Paris tomorrow. So that's one way, okay? So that's the way to make things negative when you're having may or might. Just add not after may or might, okay? So we have next can. So when you use can, it is general possibility. That means it's more likely to happen than, it's less likely to happen than could. So you're completely unsure, okay? So like learning English can be fun, okay? So you're not sure, but you can say can. So for negative, for can, you have can't, which is a contraction of cannot, and can't have, cannot have. So there, it shows that there is zero possibility. There is no chance that it will happen, okay? Okay, next.
Next, we have unreality or hypothesis. Okay, we have the first modal here, would. It is used in the main clause of conditional sentences to show that a situation is tentative. Okay, tentative or not, still not yet sure. Can also be used in polite invitations, offers, and requests. So you can, as you've noticed, you can also use it for invitations, offers, and requests, but in a polite manner. So we have some examples here. I would love to travel around the world. The second one, what would you do if you were rich? And the third one, would you like some tea? Okay, so it's like you are offering something. Okay, would you like some tea? And there we could say that the would is like it's everywhere, as you've noticed, that you can also use it. It also has different uses, but here you can use it if something is tentative or the situation is tentative, and for conditional sentences. Okay, the next one we have prediction of future events. So here in the prediction of future events, you can say that you are sure that it is going to happen in the future because you've predicted that something is going to happen. And we also have personal intention. Here we have the modal will. Okay, shall can be used in the place of will. Okay, so you can use shall with the first person pronouns I and we. So that is the exception. You can use shall, but only with pronouns I and we. But this is less common in American English. Okay, so we have the sentences here. He will forget his keys if you don't remind him. So that will happen in the future. If you don't remind him, he will surely forget his keys. The second one, what will it be like in the future? So you are not yet sure. Okay, you are not yet sure of what is going to happen, and you are thinking of what will happen in the future. Next one, I will be back in an hour. Okay, you are sure that you will be back in an hour. Next one, no, I will not. So this is your own doing. You want to do something and then you say, no, I will not. You are refusing to do something. And the last one, we will do this. So here in the last sentence, it sounds like you are offering something. So it's your personal intention.
So uses of modal verbs, willingness or wish. Okay, so this will show your, if you want to, or that is what you want to happen, what you want to do. So first we have will. Will you help me with my homework? It is a request, a wish to your listener. Also, no, I won't. It is still a wish, but in the negative sense, it is a refusal. Next, I will do it if you like. It's an offer. It's your willingness to help. Now, shall is not, it is still grammatically correct to use shall in the place of will. With the pronouns I and we, but it is less common in American English. It is more commonly used by British speakers. So, for example, we have shall I give you a hand with the dishes? So it shows willingness that you want to offer help. And shall we buy her a present? It is a offer or willingness to offer to buy or suggest a present. Now, that's the end of our lesson for today. But before that, let's have another English fact.
English fact.
So, did you know, Faye, that the shortest sentence in the English language is I am?
I am? Are you sure? Because I think I know another sentence that is shorter than I am.
Really? You do?
Yes, the sentence go.
Really? Go?
Yeah, go with an exclamation mark.
Oh, when you say like go!
Yeah, or some when you are angry, and sometimes you would just tell your friend go.
Okay, so will that work the same way as no?
I think so too, and also with yes.
But I think go and no are like tied because they have two letters.
Two letters, and yes has three letters, so maybe it's still go or no.
Okay, so that's all the time we have for you guys today. So please.
Okay, so please do like, subscribe, and hit that notification icon so that you don't miss out on our next live stream. And we will hope to see you again in the next episode of Grammar Check.
Bye.